Thursday, June 20th, and we have some major sell signals in progress. The E-mini, we always start out with the indexes and go to futures and sometimes some other topics. The E-mini is an outside down day, bearish engulfing, relative not just to the abbreviated trading session yesterday, which is Juneteenth, the holiday, but also a bearish engulfing relative to a standard trading day on Tuesday of this week. That's the one I like. I'm a little suspicious when I get signals after a holiday when there was abbreviated trading ranges. So this one looks extremely good, and it could develop into something even bigger by the end of the day. It's currently only 9:39 California time. We've been overbought for several days in a row. You know this sets me up for a reversal, which is happening. Now, in order for it to stay a reversal, all it has to do is close below yesterday's close, and all is said and done, and then hope it works properly. So far, this is great. I'm going to go to the 1 minute E-mini chart. You can see that since yesterday afternoon, market opened around unchanged, pretty typical, started a rally and made new highs for the whole damn trend. Historic. Ends up developing a top just after midnight California time, 12:36 a.m. it looks like. And at this point, we end up with a bearish engulfing lower than the abbreviated session yesterday's lows and going short at 55.61.25. The day trade scalp is still short, although we may be taking a profit soon. Our stop is currently at, give or take a tick or two, 55.4250, and just about to get, wait a minute. Yeah, just about to get hit. And I'm going to like that. That's going to be a good profit, but it could keep on going down. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. And the overnight version of ER1 has a stop way up here that can be changed, lowered, whatever you like, and act like the scalping version of ER1, which you see is about to take a profit any split second here. Bingo, we just did. We're out at 55.4250 right that moment. Good day trade scalp. The overnight version is going to stay short unless it rallies all the way up to get stopped out, or it closes higher than the previous day's closing price, which would be an abbreviated day, yesterday's close. Then it's going to be offset automatically on the close. Why? Because you're not getting the outside down day on the close. You're getting an outside up day on the close. But right now it looks like could be a really great reversal. Let's go to the spider. Not quite yet, the reversals. And the QQQ does have a bearish engulfing based on the session of Tuesday. Remember, this was not trading yesterday. The 1 minute version has not only broken the low earlier this morning, but it also, when it got short and a little bit of a bear trap, but I have adjusted the stop to be just above the high of the rally, which was at 8:09 California time. And now it's stagnant for the moment and should start to come down some, but it's not trapping a profit yet. I could do that if I wanted, but I haven't got enough elbow room, really. I want to get a lot more profitable before I start fiddling around with my smart trailing stop kicker number. Okay, great so far. We're short the overnight version and the scalp version at 483.48. Next, and this is not a trade recommendation per se. Used to have government licenses for decades. Don't anymore. Don't want them anymore. Don't have to have them anymore. This is for educational purposes only. You know the rules. Past performance is not indicative of, et cetera, et cetera. We're short also the NASDAQ, and looks like we're already out with the stops that are being used. We'll going to the 1 minute chart and current data. We are still short the overnight version, and we had a day trade profit on the scalp version, which is the green dashed line. The overnight version has a stop up here still. It's much slower moving than the stop on the scalp version for obvious reasons. Scalps are very short term, to say the least. But the entries on the overnight and the scalp are the same for ER1, either version. And the overnight wants to stay short for a much longer period of time, days, weeks, and even longer if it can. And it depends upon where you want to place your stop, or rather how fast you want your stop to move, not where you are placing it. It's the algorithm. This is 100% automated you're looking at. The YM Dow Jones, we set a sell signal on the top first high. We got a sell signal on the second of the double top. Second high, we got a buy signal on the bottom of the market. You can't get better than that. Both highs and the only low between the two of them. Now we're under the guise, so to speak, of the last sell signal, and I'm waiting for this market to start to make lower lows. The fact that it's gone sideways for a couple, 3 weeks is a little unusual, but not ruining the potential double top. If all works correctly, sometime in the next several weeks, probably it will take, we're going to get down to 35,068, my minimum downside objective. I hope. I expect, measured the right way. We'll see what happens. And on the Dow Jones futures, we're still stalling. Next, the Russell. Because of the very, very large major resistance area going all the way back to April of 22. Whoa, we just got a new low on Spider. That's an alarm I set off to alert me when markets are starting to make new lows or breaking some important levels. You know, it's a standard alarm line type of situation. But the Russell's got this huge resistance area for 2 years, and it stopped it again quite a while back. When was that? May 16th. And it's just been chewing its way lower. And the Russell 5-minute, not that important at the moment. Now look at bonds. They've got close to overbought. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, they did get overbought and have a bearish signal that worked for a day. That's plenty of time for ER1 and or maybe ER3 scalps to make money. But the position trades, nah. It only went down one more day after the sell signal, and that's probably not enough to lock in a profit on a position trade. This one worked much better. It went down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 or 4 days after, and quite a significant amount. Plenty of room for even a position trade to start to lock in a profit. Probably not very much, but a profit's a profit. Now, what do we got? Still sideways for the last few days. I think there's a good chance it could dribble back down to the top of the old channel, which is now definitely broken out of. Original breakout, rally, classic reaction back down toward the top of the channel, maybe touching it. This came close, and new highs. So another little dip, maybe another set of new highs, or maybe some sort of sideways for a little while. I am not expecting any big downside move on bonds or this chart, 10-year notes. Same kind of scenario. Let's look at the crude oil. And we're going to go back to the indexes at the end of this because I want to see how much more movement, probably down, of course, we may have had when I'm finished. Resistance area, trying to stop this rally, not necessarily having a lot of success yet. Overbought for the last 3 days in resistance. At the top of the resistance is a great place for it to have a signal. All I need to do is get below yesterday's lows and the previous trading day's lows, I should say, which I believe was yesterday. Yep, it was. New York was open. Chicago was closed. And down we would go with a bearish engulfing sell signal in just exactly the right spot. We'll see what happens. Natural gas, neutral territory RSI, low and last, possible double top. If that's true, the depth is down to this low right here, the lowest low between the two highs, and the downside objective would probably easily break into new low ground for the whole trend. Gotta look like bearish. I'm expecting a test of 2.520 and a test of the support area, the previous bottoms, February, April, May, and probably lower than that. Next, heating oil. Major, gigantic support area, did stop the last decline in oversold condition, and we've had a nice rally. But now we're overbought for 3 days, at a little bit of resistance, and it looks like a very good spot for the rally to stop and turn down to challenge the lowest lows and get into the support area. Next, gold, very strong, new highs for over a week. Now the double top is still in effect, but we had somewhat of a false breakout. We need to go back down below these lows a couple of weeks ago at around 2,303, close below those lows, and then you have a really good downside breakout, probably. But this rally throws a little question mark into what's happening. So I'm going to wait until that rally is challenged or I get some other sort of signal. RSI is very neutral. I like the double top still, so I got to tell you, I'm sticking with my original story. The downside objective, and that's a little tilted. I want it perfectly flat. There we go. Would be right about 2,145. Next, silver. Not really a double top. Some people might like that. I think it's a little too close together for my liking. But, you know, maybe. Big rally today like gold. Did come down to the first support level and drop into it a little bit. And now, can we be building a larger major top formation? I'm going to do this for you real quick. The distance from this high to the highest high is that number of bars. And if I grab this and move it off to the number of bars to the far right, we get the date of June 24th, which is only in a few days. Today's the 20th. If we have a rally high on that day and start to turn down, and the price level is not much higher than we are right now, then I'm going to like this line a lot. And this is a potential neckline on a head and shoulder top formation, maybe. But we're not making the left shoulder yet. Got a few more days. Or it could be a little early or a little late. But let's call it a few days before or after that exact date. And I think I said 24th, 25th, something like that. And of course, if it's on the weekend, then it would be a Friday or a Monday, whatever. So this is interesting before the first shoulder form. I've done this before several times. So let's see if I can do it again. Next chart is platinum. Much more of an interesting possible head and shoulder top. I'm not going to really go into this in too much depth because we've got, well, okay, I will. We only actually have that much time left. From the high to the highest high, which was a bearish engulfing ER sell signal on that day, right there is that number of days, whatever it is. And you'd measure from the high day to, okay, it's the same June 25th. A few days from now, and I've got a better shoulder level, is right up against 1019. And it would be idealistic if it was on June 25th, which happens to be Tuesday of next week. Good. Boy, that'll be something. I got the exact price and the exact date pegged, but it rarely turns out to be exactly that way. So anything in the ballpark circle around what I'm drawing now will do just fine. And of course, this is the neckline that we'll be using. Okay, next chart. High-grade copper bounced off support very nicely early this week and is rallying some, but I don't expect much. Yep, that's about the best I can say. Maybe a little bit more of a rally. I can also imply a possible head and shoulder top. Sorry about this, guys. All three metals seem to have the possibility, especially silver. So, yeah. Rally up a little bit more, give or take to about 46, 4.6875-ish. A little higher, a little lower. A few days from now, well, actually, the time may have already passed. This is from this high to the highest high right there. That's the distance. And from the highest high to the right, oh yeah, definitely passed. So we're already late on the last shoulder on this. So this is not very good looking. Beans, oil, meal, corn, wheat, then cattle and hogs. And we got the low of the hogs, I think, so far, and maybe a perfect entry in hogs. Stay tuned for hogs. Miss Piggy. This soybean chart is in a major historical support area that I started talking about early in the year, months ago. It's based on lows that were made, generally speaking, July of 22 and May of 23. And although they were broken decisively and for a while, but got very oversold, it bounced a lot. And then it bounced again with a bullish engulfing ER buy signal smack on the bottom of the break to the day, April 19th, had an excellent rally as a result, but double topped out recently. And the minimum downside objective I've been talking about since the double top has almost been fulfilled. As far as I'm concerned, it pretty much worked 95%. So, hooray. Now, is it going to make lower lows? Maybe. Is it going to break down completely and have new lows for the whole trend and break out of the support area? It's possible. So here is the time price for the market to start to show strength, and it's not doing it yet. We're near the lows of today, yesterday, and the day before. A little lower does hit a little support line, the bottom of the support level, and my minimum downside objective. So I'd love to see it dip a little bit and turn up, but that's about all I got. Watch out for beans. Be very careful here. They could collapse and be very bearish. But I would also like some accompanying bearish activity in other grains at the same time, and I don't really have it yet. So I'm kind of looking for it to turn around, but don't have any evidence. Soybean oil did hold at support, has made new highs for a week or so in the last 2 days, is looking more friendly, more bullish, and has a whopping big 2-year possible head and shoulder bottom I've been talking about since April, May. Okay, the long-term picture is ungodly bullish. I think I came up with a 92 for an upside objective, more than doubling the current quote. Unbelievable. So I'm hesitant to think that it's actually going to work, but that's the objective. And it may take a year or two. The neckline is the big yellow dotted line, dash line. It's also very close to another major bear trend line, interesting. And the shoulders are at the right time, the right place. All the other body parts look pretty good. The trouble is, it's really too big, 2 years in size, and at the end of a sideways trading range for several months. Usually these head and shoulder patterns, bottom formations, are the bottom of a bear market. The stock market did that a couple of years ago, smack at the bottom of this current bull market. So, meal, minor double top is working, got a sell signal and a second high exactly like what it's doing. We're about low and last, about to make new lows for a few days. And maybe it's going to break down completely because the lows of the last 2 weeks are awfully close. Then you're going to be testing support again, and I don't think you're going to be oversold yet. I'm looking for my minimum downside objective of 326 to get filled. We did have a breakout right here. It did have follow through. The rally was approximately back up to resistance, a little higher, and now we're about to make new lows. It looks like, yeah, I think it's going to work. 326 objective. Corn, now putting somewhat the long-term bullish bottom in a little bit of jeopardy. We have a big bear market that came down to incredibly close to previous historic lows way back of September of 21 and turned around with a bullish engulfing. Smack dab on the bottom of this long-term bear market. I would love to be able to tell you 6 months, a year or two from now that we picked that low. All I can say is, yeah, so far we did. But I don't have a huge bull market yet. That's always retrospect 2020 hindsight. You can't turn the clock back to get in on that date and time. My long-term trading did. and could very easily still be long. It depends upon your kicker. How fast do you want your stop to move? My strategy is very adjustable in that respect. Totally, I have to say. Let's move this little neckline back up. Whoops, don't want to do that. And that's where it should be. Very good right there. Now, wheat, end support, oversold 3 days in a row. You know, I love that combination. Perfect for a potential bullish engulfing we don't have yet. Maybe in the next few days. I hope today's low is the low. I don't know that for sure. There is another couple of, at least one more support area that I like that we could test. I'm doubting it. This is a good combination for a turn back up. We just don't see it starting to rally very much yet. Cattle, bearish engulfing at the moment today, actually just about unchanged exactly. So that's an engulfing with an unchanged close. It's not bullish or bearish if it stays here. So we'll see if it turns out to be bullish or bearish. Bullish could push it into new high ground for a test of this resistance area. Bearish is probably going to push it down to close a small gap from several days ago, and very probably into testing 176 and hogs. Now, ER3 wants to buy it at 88.975. The low today is 89.10, extremely close to my new long bid that is going to die at the end of today. ER3 only can get long or short within 3 days after the signal day, which was on the 14th. ER1 always gets short when it turns red and long when it turns green. That didn't work. That was a losing trade. But so far, this one's been great. And let's look at the E-mini again, see what downside progress we may have made. Bounced, starting to make new lows again. Took a profit. You saw it when we started the show. Right there. Came up even more. And now my one overnight version is still in the trade. Has a stop that's way up here. The stop for the scalp version started out much lower, dropped off much faster, and captured a profitable scalping trade. Not bad. We're just now getting back down to a tick or two below where the scalp got out. I like what I see longer term. I think this is going to make new lows. The NASDAQ has been the weakest, and let's see. We're still on a little bit of a rally here. Okay, little delayed data. I'm not got the wrong one. I'm sorry. That was the Qs. That's why. NASDAQ. Oh, I have to go to the right. I'm sorry. Bingo. Here we are. Day trade scalp. Good, profitable. Overnight version, because this is going down faster, quicker, better than the rest of them. Big, nice profits. So far, so good on the overnight, which has dropped off only one amount so far. I could, if I wanted, to drop the stop down much lower to even trap a profit. But maybe that's going to be too close. Leave it alone for the moment. I'm looking at this thinking we're going to see new lows. You guys have a great trading day. Profitable trading to you. See you tomorrow.